Larry again. Welcome back. Today I'm doing gyros, homemade gyros with tzatziki sauce. So check this out. Here I have a little over a cup of finely chopped or minced onion here. This is a red onion, about 3/4 of a large onion or maybe one medium onion's worth. I'm going to dump that in my little mini food processor here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pulse it to an even finer consistency. Alright, there we go. So now it's got a nice paste, not paste, but a much finer texture, and this is important for the next step. So this next step, you can see here I have just a bowl with some cheesecloth in there, and I'm going to go ahead and get the newly processed onion into the bowl. Just like that, and then what you want to do is take the cheesecloth, wrap it around it just like this, see, and see it's already starting to squeeze out. You squeeze it, so you twist it up so it doesn't escape, and you squeeze it. There we go. So you can see there's a lot of liquid floating around in there, and what I have is my string onions. So let's get these out of the cheesecloth. And there we go, right there. So it's much drier. Obviously, we've got most of the water out of there, and this is going to make a big difference in the texture of the meat. To go along with the onion, I have what I can describe as several garlic cloves, finely minced. A couple pulses in the food processor make it really nice and fine. Also, my other herbs, I have rosemary. Now what I'm showing here, where I'm at and right now making this video, it's winter time and my fresh herbs are not available, and these are dried versions of my fresh herbs. So what I have here is 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary. Now I would recommend using fresh, and if you did, I would at least double that to maybe 2.5, maybe 3 tablespoons worth of fresh, but this is dried. I also have 1 tablespoon currently oregano. I would prefer this to be marjoram, but it's a substitute, and it's also dry. So if you're using fresh, you know, double the recipe to at least 2 tablespoons or maybe 3, depending on your taste. Here I have 2 teaspoons of coarse sea salt and about a half teaspoon of black pepper. So these are my herbs for my meat. And here are the meats for my gyro. I have a 50-50 ratio of beef to lamb. Ground lamb, 1 pound of ground lamb, 1 pound of ground beef. Just for your information, in this video I'm using 90% lean ground beef. You can use 85 or 80% as well, but I'm using 90% here right now. So let's put all these ingredients into a mixing bowl. For my stand mixer, you can use a stand mixer like I am today. I've also used my food processor, but the capacity is lower, so I had to do this in batches. I prefer to use my stand mixer because it can hold everything at once. So you just throw everything in there. Now it's off to the stand mixer. Alright, that's mixed up pretty good. However, the texture's not quite right, so I'm going to go on to the food processor anyway. And then throw some at a time into your food processor to its capacity, which mine isn't that great, so I do it in portions. This is why I used the stand mixer originally. I wanted everything to be mixed pretty well homogeneously, but it doesn't provide a paste-like texture like a food processor will. So I want to do this in stages here. See, now this is much better. It's more of a not quite a paste, but it's really been mixed really well. It's almost like one meat now. So I'm going to take this out and do it with the rest of the meat, another batch or 2, and I'll come back. Now the trick here is, in order to make a gyro, homemade gyro that's got the same texture as an actual gyro, you need a pack it really tightly together to get rid of all the voids and air cavities in the meat. And I tried using my hands, squeezing the thing into like a little loaf. That wasn't sufficient. There were still some gaps. So what I'm doing here is just temporarily using a loaf pan to, make the meat dense. Pushing it into itself. This pan's only temporary. I'm not going to cook in this pan. Just using it as a way to compress the meat really well. Just like that. I mean, I could even, and the shape's not important. I'm going to pull it out and reform it anyway. I just want to try to get it compacted as much as possible. Okay, good. Alright. So now I'm trying to get it out of here. Just like that. Form my own log. Really well. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be good. Kind of oblong like that will be fine. If you're going to do a rotisserie version, you might want to shape it a little bit differently and more tighter. But this is not going on a rotisserie. This is going on my grill in the indirect cooking method. Now I'm going to transfer my log to some plastic wrap, and I'm going to wrap it tightly. And I'm applying pressure to squish it as I go, even tighter if I can. Alright, twist the ends, bring in the ends, pack it in really good, and you can kind of squish it some more as long as it doesn't pop out of there. And that's going to be my loaf, just like that. Now throw it in the fridge for a couple hours and let it harden and firm up some more. Not necessary if you're going right on the grill with it, but if some people like to do the rotisserie, you want this to be firm when you skewer it, otherwise it'll fall apart. Now I got my grill. This is my Kamado Joe Big Joe. I'm going to go ahead and light up my fire. I got a fire square, starter square down there. Okay, and I'm going to lightly cover that a little bit, get it until it gets going, and I'll come back. It's been several minutes now. It's heating up quite nicely, so I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the grill for indirect cooking. So, got my accessory rack. Got one of my heat deflectors, the other heat deflector. Right, just like that. See? And this is for the roasting temperature range for about 350 degrees. So there you go there. And then throw on my rack. Main grate. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and close up the lid and set my vents to get it up to about 325 to 350. Now my grill is heated up to about 320, between 325 and 350. Right now it's about 330, but that's my target temperature. Nice, good grill roasting temperature. And what I got here now is my grill, everything ready to go. Put my log on there. Then I'm going to insert my meat probe in here too. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. About halfway through your cooking time, which for me is probably about 35 to 40 minutes, I'm guessing. So a little over half hour to this cook. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and give this thing a turn. There we go. And let it finish cooking. Alright everyone, it's ready to pull this thing off the grill. It's been over an hour, probably an hour and 20 minutes or so. So let's get this thing off. It's reading 174. And that's exactly what I wanted to cook it to, about 170 to 175. So I'm pulling it off right now. Let's take a look at it first though. Look at that thing. It's delicious. That looks really good. Yeah, okay. Well, They're coming off.
Yeah.
Alright guys, here we go. So now it's off. Roll it up in some foil. And let it sit until you're ready to eat. Alright, now it's time to eat. So let's unwrap this. Oh, that looks good. That looks delicious. Alright, let's try slicing it up a little. Oh man. Let's get a close up. There we go, nice close up. Now let's try a piece. Oh, alright, that was good. Let's make ourselves a gyro. Okay, here we go. Get a pita. Throw it on some of the meat. Along with some Tzatziki sauce, or Tzatziki sauce actually. Look at that. I have the recipe for this on the screen hopefully for you to see. If not, I'll put it in the video description. And I throw a couple cheese on, some feta cheese, along with some onion. Alright, let's give this a taste. Okay, let's give this a try. It's a good gyro. They're easy to make, don't require too much time, and the flavor is probably better than most gyro joints you're ever going to eat at. So definitely take the time, experiment, make a gyro. You'll be glad you did. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out other videos on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.